morning, grade 7s. Today we're looking at rectangular prisms, and we're specifically going to look at how to work out the volume and the total surface area of rectangular prisms. Now, we've done volume before. In front of us we have a rectangular prism, and we are used to working out the area. So if we wanted to work out the area of the top surface of the box, it would be length times by breadth, which would give us the area of one side. Now we're looking at volume, and volume brings in the height. So we have got the breadth, the length, and the height. Now remember that volume is working out how much space an object takes up. So we want to know how much space this rectangular prism takes up in a room. So the formula for volume is length times breadth times height. Now what we are doing when we work out volume is finding out how many little cubes are in the box. How many little cubes are fitting into this box? So let's fill in the amounts. Let's say that the breadth is 5 centimeters, the length is 10 centimeters, and the height is 4 centimeters. Length 10 centimeters times by breadth, which is 5 centimeters, times by height, which is 4 centimeters. 10 times 5 is 50, and 4 times 50 is 200. Now the centimeters are cubed, because remember, we are seeing how many cubes, little blocks of sugar or little dice, fit into this object. Another way to remember it is we are multiplying 3 things together, so we must have a 3 at the top, and we call it cubed because it is representing little cubes. Right, let's look at surface area. When we look at surface area, we are wanting to know the area of each side of the rectangular prism. So if we were to open it up like this, there is a net of a rectangular prism. We want to know the area of the entire thing. So we have a formula for it. And it might look complicated initially, but it's actually quite easy to remember. There are 2 green sides, and the area of the green side is length times by breadth, plus there are 2 orange sides, and the area of the orange sides is length times by the height of the tissue box. So it's 2 lengths times heights. Plus, if we look at the pink ones, to work out the area of the pink sides, we are looking at breadth times height. So let's have a look at that again. If we look at the top picture, the rectangular prism, there are 2 of the green sides, length times by breadth, and look down at the formula, 2 of those. Then let's look at the orange sides, length times by height, look down at the formula, there are 2 of them. And then look at the pink sides, breadth times by height, down to the formula, there are 2 of them. I call this the tissue box theory, and there's always a tissue box in the classroom to remind you of this. If you open up the tissue box, there are 2 length times breadths, the top and the bottom. There are 2 length times heights. There are 2 sides. And there are 2 breadth times height. There are 2 ends. Let's look at how we can use our formulas to work out problems. In front of you is a table, and I've given you the length, the breadth, and the height. We're going to work out the volume first. Remember that volume is length times breadth times height. Always write the formula and then fill the amounts in. The length is 5 centimeters, the breadth is 3 centimeters, and the height is 2 centimeters. And if we multiply those together, 5 times 3 is 15, and 15 times 2 is 30 centimeters, 1, 2, 3, cubed. So we can fill in our volume into the table. Right, let's look at the total surface area. Let's write our formula down first. Surface area is 2. Remember the sides of the rectangular prism. There is a top and there must be a bottom. So there are 2 of those, and they are length times breadth plus, let's look at these sides here. There are 2 of them, and they are length times height. And then let's look at these sides. There are 2 of them, and they are breadth times height. Now we fill in the amounts. 2 times the length is 5, and the breadth is 3. Next one, there are 2 of them. The length is 5, and the height is 2. Next side, there are 2 of them. The breadth is 3, and the height is 2. There we go. Now we work them out. 5 times 3 is 15, and 15 times 2 is 30. And these are squared because remember, we're multiplying 2 of them and we're looking at area. Area is always squared. Plus 5 times 2 is 10, and 10 times 2 is 20 centimeters squared. And the last one, 3 times 2 is 6, and 6 times 2 is 12. And now we add those together. 30 plus 20 is 50, and 50 plus 12 is 62 centimeters squared. So we can fill that in on our table. So remember, let's go back to this picture above. Remember the tissue box theory, or total surface area. There are 2 of these sides, one at the top, one at the bottom. There are 2 of these sides, one in front, one round the back. And there are 2 of these sides, one in front and one round the back. And that is why we have 2 of each.